to the JC Dance Posse from New Beginnings Christian Center. We're happy to be in the Junior Rose Festival Parade for the third year in a row. Give it a blanket.
Time to take a little break here in between the action. Going back out there in the sun in a minute. Thought I'd stop by Sandy Lanes here. This is where all the kids are who aren't in the parade.
That's not right. A little whole band.
It looks, it's fine.
You guys, off it, going.
Here, let all the water in.
Are you guys going to drive behind us?
See you guys later.
Peter, stop.
Right, left.
Don't stop. We're still marching.
Never told us. Confused us when you stopped playing.
Hey, when you guys stop, we're tired. Just keep on the beat. Oh, you're tired. Leave the block.
March, Tim. March too fast, Nathan. Be sure to keep a crate.
where you would have relatively low usage, but nonetheless, some regular usage, to dedicate a one return channel, or some return bandwidth, like a single channel, on the residential network that goes into the schools, so that you could send some programming, some video programming, some data back along the residential system and back to the head end, and then it could go out to everybody, or on the institutional network, just to schools or government agencies or whatever. So there are a variety of ways of doing this. What you need to do is, before the cable company designs this system, you're going to need to let them know where you are going to have needs, and the type of needs that you think you'll be having, and the extent to which you're going to need capacity. Are you going to need an Ethernet connection? Are you going to need, are you going to be doing video? Are you going to be doing high-speed data? Is it going to be a very low-speed data use? Whatever it is that you think you're going to need, you need to let the cable company know about that, and you need to know, let them know, and the franchising authority, because that's who we're talking to anyway through this renewal process, so that they can actually design the system, because as long as they know in advance what it is that you're going to need to the extent possible, they'll be able to put in extra fibers when they, coming out of the head end. And they'll be able to put in whatever translation equipment they need at the nodes, and design the bypasses of the nodes to the extent it's going to be a fiber system and so forth, going right into the schools. So it's you're going to have tremendous possibilities here, but you need to kind of look at it in advance, try to, as clearly as possible, articulate what your needs are going to be, and then let the franchising authorities know. Okay. Any other questions here? Yeah.
I can't imagine that this isn't all standardized somehow, because it seems to me there's going to be a lot of expense and a lot of trouble and a lot of effort if this is not somewhat standardized. I'm talking about the connecting devices. Kind of like we're trying to do with the WebNet now, where that's being standardized.
Mm-hmm.
With a system like this, because you mentioned Ethernet and all the other kinds of things that are out there. Is this what would happen?
Well,
so that, in answer to the question over there as well, as things come online later, it seems to me there needs to be some kind of a standardization, or in fact, is there a standardization for doing this type of thing?
Well, I'm not. There certainly is off-the-shelf type equipment that you could agree that you were going to use that would permit, a common usage of the system. There is the way that TCI is approaching this. They are very interested in education and in serving the educational community, and they actually are planning to offer the schools a good deal, in a way. Not a giveaway. TCI, we used to be able to get cable companies in these franchising processes. Bruce is smiling over here because we've seen offers of giveaways that, that would just turn anybody's head, and back in the early franchising days. And essentially, cable companies would say, well, we will build you an institutional network that will connect all your schools and your government agencies and everybody else, and then we'll operate it for you, and it won't cost you a thing, and you'll have this tremendous resource. Now, what has happened all over the country in the past, until now, is that those things have not worked. I mean, the cable company promised to build them. Half the time they came in and said, in the middle of their construction, we can't afford to build it, and they got let off the hook. In other cases, they built it and it never was used. Actually, Portland is an example of that. There's iNet there that's hanging on the poles that never was used. They have tremendous capacity there that hasn't been
But
used at all.
I'm talking about is on a thing like this. If we had a system like that, and I think we understand that and how it works, but where the nodes are, let's say for us to get into the Vancouver district from
Yeah.
Ridgefield and or get into one of our other districts,
Right.
and all of a sudden they have a different type of switching equipment or something.
Right.
And so now there's additional cost, and whoops, we can't go there because
Okay,
you know, you
I'm
can't
actually,
run the Mac machine and the,
right. I am getting to the
That's
answer to
coming?
your question. Yeah, it's coming. It was a little long-winded. And the point is, they were, you know, we used to, they used to build systems and just, you know, leave them there. Now what they are planning to do, what TCI is planning to do, because they have a special interest in education, also because they have a special interest in making money, is that they are offering, they are going to the school systems and saying, you know, get us a design that, you know, get us an articulation of your needs here, and then we will build the system to your needs, and we'll essentially advise you along the way on what kind of equipment you need. You know, what we'll be aware of what sort of expansion you need in the future, and so forth, and we'll put in this system, and then we'll give you a kind of nice deal on it. I mean, you'll have to pay for it. You'll have to pay for it, but we'll and you know, you'll have to but you'll pay for it out of a lease cost that reflects you know, only the cost plus a little bit that it took us to put it in there, and it'll only be, you will have a system that does everything for you. You know, it allows you to get off the phone, you know, the telephone company phone lines, allows you to do video conferencing and interactive learning, and allows you to run all of your data and so forth. And you know, it'll cost you $300 or $400 a month per building or whatever it is, and that's how you'll pay for it. And you will not have had to go out yourself and build a system that looks like this. All you'll have to pay is the incremental cost of putting in a couple of extra fibers when we're building anyway. You know, a couple cents a foot extra, and that's it. So that's the direction that TCI is going, and you should be aware of that. I mean, you know, it's not going to be possible to, you know, to go and ask them to build a system for you for free and turn it over to you. They will not do that. I mean, they've got a company policy that just won't allow them to do that. If they did it, they would put it on the general subscribers' bills, and that would be a political, you know, impossibility. You just would have a real hard time justifying that. So anyway, that's the direction they're going. They're going to say, look, we'll put in these extra fibers and run them down to the schools and essentially create a link and whatever capacity you need, we'll put in the equipment, we'll make it work, and then we'll lease it. You know, you'll have a per building cost. And that means that, you know, but if you look into your telecommunications costs now, you might find, you know, quite a bit there that could go toward to supporting a system like this, if you could get off the phone lines, you know, and so forth. If you look at the kind of things that you'd like to be able to do in terms of, you know, interactive learning and so video type applications that you're not able to do at all now, or you know, would have to pay the phone company an arm and a leg to get going, it might look like a bargain. So that's the approach that TCI is taking, and I would, you know, recommend that you start thinking in those terms. I think it would be important to, through the franchising authority, to, you know, get TCI to start talking to you about what they plan, you know, about their plans, and seeing how that would fit in with what you need to do, and I think that's going to be real useful. And then you can kind of back up and start to write up a real needs assessment. Yeah.
Do you see anything you're talking about in any way relating to computer networks, or is this all video we're talking about?
No, this also would run all of your computer communications. Yeah, it runs data as well as video and voice stuff.
Well, we currently have a rather elaborate computer network to WEDNet, and each of us have networks in our school district now tied into that. We have very complex and I think fairly effective system going at the present time over telephone lines. Computers now. You see this possibly replacing that in some way? I'm trying to get the vision of
to the extent that
alongside it.
to the extent that that you are paying, to the extent that you had a system like this in place that was designed to, to do the communications that you need, you would be able to communicate among your buildings on this, on this system with whatever data you need to share, rather than on the phone lines. So I don't know if you have phone costs that are associated with this, but if there are, this would be an alternative way for you to consider going. I assume, I'd have to look at that, but I assume that would be the case. So you can do data.
Well, one of the things, I think one of the things to answer Cliff's question fairly would be to, and I don't know if you'll get into this, is to get into a general discussion of the differences between analog systems and digital systems, where we are headed in terms of the ability to carry full motion video, data transmission, as well as voice. You could even be looking at your cable company becoming your telephone company in the future.
Sure.
With deregulation. So with this technology, it's the next wave of technology. It's akin to replacing the Model T Ford with the Dodge Viper or something like that. It's quite a bit more accelerated in terms of its technical capability. So maybe you could, are you going to at some point touch on where digital is going? One of the things I'm interested in is the interactivity or connection between the home and the school. Being able to extend the school day, being able to have youngsters access school resources from home, being able to make that a two-way flow.
Right.
You can't do that without digital.
Right. Now, one of the things that we are, one of the next things I wanted to talk about here was the fact that the way that TCI is planning to build the system will involve, I mean, if they're going to do it here the way they're doing it in Tacoma and Seattle and other places, there will be interactivity from the home right from the start, so that you will be able to send signals back from the home. You would be able to communicate to the homes from the schools. Exactly how that would be worked out financially, we're not sure. But it is going to be, the technical capability is going to be in there right from the start. The way that has been done in the past is that there has been virtually no interactivity from the homes, no possibility of sending signals back from the homes. But if you wanted to do it, you could install the amplifiers and so forth from a particular location and get the signals back. So